ever get that itch, that feeling maybe that your current job, your path, it isn't the only one.
Right.
That you could take what your insider view and build something, well, something really your own.
Uh-huh. And today, we're diving into a story that's exactly like that, a really compelling transformation.
Yeah, we're looking at the journey of Tyler Robertson. He went from being, a longtime employee in the commercial trucking industry.
To founding and leading Diesel Laptops, a company that's become a pretty major player in vehicle diagnostic software and hardware.
Exactly. So our mission here for this deep dive is to really unpack how he made that leap. Employee to founder, building this company that sources say was projecting towards $100 million in yearly revenue.
Right. And we've got some good stuff to draw on. There's the software business success stories piece, Diesel Laptops on About page, a really interesting Reddit AMA Tyler did.
Oh, yeah. That AMA was insightful. Plus articles on their growth, YouTube interviews, lots to dig into.
So let's set the scene. Diesel Laptops. They just hit their 10-year anniversary back in March. And they're not just like a typical software company.
No, they provide these specialized diagnostic tools the computer systems mechanics need for big rigs, construction equipment, that sort of thing.
But it's more than just the tools, right? It's repair information, services, parts. They're aiming for the whole package.
And that $100 million projection, that came from Tyler himself in early 2023 on Reddit. He mentioned $70 million for 2022.
And other reports mention over $65 million the year before that. So serious growth.
Okay, let's rewind a bit, though. What really jumps out is Tyler wasn't some tech guy deciding trucking needed disruption. He was in it.
Deeply in it. Over 15 years at a place called Carolina International Trucks.
Yeah, doing all sorts of roles, service manager, parts manager, even IT and marketing. That kind of grounding,
Yeah.
it feels crucial, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Imagine being a service manager, seeing firsthand what technicians struggled with day in, day out, the clumsy diagnostic tools, hunting for repair info.
He wasn't guessing at the problems, he lived them.
Exactly. That's often, way more valuable than just having a cool tech idea. He knew the real pain points.
And the start of Diesel Laptops, it was almost, surprisingly basic. Back in 2014, he just saw a gap, making it easier to buy the diagnostic tools already out there.
Yeah, the sources say he literally started by bundling existing stuff, hardware, software, and selling it on eBay.
From his garage. And his dining room table, apparently. Just him, a laptop, and the internet. Talk about lean.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Just simplifying the purchase process for existing tools. That alone was enough to get traction. He wasn't inventing the tech initially, just the access.
But here's the kicker, the real fork-in-the-road moment. His day job, his employer.
They weren't exactly thrilled he had this thing growing on the side.
Right. They basically asked him to quit the side business. And according to the story, it was actually his wife who pushed him.
She encouraged him to quit the job instead and go all in on Diesel Laptops.
Wow. That takes guts. Leaving a stable, long-term job for an eBay business run from your garage at that point.
It's that classic entrepreneurial gamble, isn't it? Security versus the unknown potential.
Yeah.
Her support must have been huge.
And clearly it paid off. He went from, just himself.
To over 200 employees now. Huge revenue growth year after year.
And remember that initial investment under $2,500. He mentioned that in the AMA, just bootstrapping it.
Which means, for anyone listening, just using the company's own profits to grow. No outside investors calling the shots. That's discipline.
But they didn't just keep selling the same bundles. They evolved, right? That's where the real value seems to have compounded.
Totally. They added layers. The diagnostic tools, core product, but then crucial repair information integrated.
Yeah.
A call center stacked with actual diesel techs and IT pros for remote help.
So if a mechanic gets stuck, they can actually call someone who knows trucks and knows the software.
Exactly. Plus training centers. They want to be the complete solution, the partner for repair shops. They're even building out a parts marketplace now.
It's like they kept asking, what else do our customers need?
Precisely. And, there's that story about their director of operations.
Oh, yeah, the guy who started out making pizzas and subs.
That's the one. And now he's a key leader in this, potentially $100 million company. It says a lot about finding talent in unexpected places.
And maybe about the opportunities created when a company grows that fast.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing. They definitely hit bumps.
The sources mentioned challenges, yeah. Like significant hiring mistakes early on. Even embezzlement, apparently.
Ouch. Yeah, and just managing that explosive growth, that's its own massive challenge. You outgrow processes, leadership styles.
They even hit a plateau at one point, didn't they, where growth stalled.
They did. And they had to consciously shift gears, focus on real strategic planning, get the right leadership structure in place to break through it. That's a critical test for any scaling company.
And through it all, that commitment to bootstrapping held firm. Tyler's described as anti-debt.
Right, just constantly reinvesting profits back into the business. It's a longer game, maybe, than taking venture capital, but you keep control. It's about the long-term vision.
Their marketing also changed dramatically. From eBay,
To what Tyler himself called a shitty website early on.
right, to now having this really strong online game SEO, content marketing, like blogs, even their own podcast, social media too.
Which is interesting for a niche B2B market like heavy-duty truck repair, right?
Yeah.
But they figured out how to reach those customers online.
They found paid search gives a good ROI, like 600%, but their organic content, the stuff people find naturally that actually converts better in the end.
It builds trust, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Attract people who are really researching, not just clicking an ad.
And even their physical space tells the story. Home office,
Yeah.
then renting, then buying buildings.
Yeah, buying a 40,000 square foot building and then outgrowing that and buying another one.
But they prioritized flexibility, it seems. Didn't want to get locked into huge leases way ahead of their actual needs. Smart, given how fast they were moving.
That agility, again, it runs through the whole story, adapting to the growth.
Okay, so let's try and distill this. For someone listening, thinking about that leap from employee to founder, what's the core takeaway from Tyler Robertson and Diesel laptops?
I think it really boils down to deeply understanding a problem, because you've lived it.
Yeah.
Tyler used his 15-plus years of industry experience not just to spot the need.
But to build a complete solution, not just a tool, but the support, the info, everything around it.
Exactly. Combine that insider knowledge with, well, the courage to actually make the jump.
Backed by his wife's encouragement, crucial point.
Right. And then that relentless focus on customer value and reinvesting everything back into the vision. That seems to be the formula here.
Yeah, those key moments stand out, don't they? Seeing the gap from the inside, making that risky decision to quit the day job, learning from mistakes, like the hiring ones, constantly adding value beyond just the initial product.
And for listeners wanting that quick but thorough understanding, this case study really packs it in from zero, essentially, to a major industry player, all starting from that employee perspective.
So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with is this. Look around your own work, your own industry. What are those nagging frustrations, those inefficiencies everyone complains about but nobody fixes?
Could your insider knowledge, the stuff you see every day, be the seed for the next Diesel laptops? Maybe your own leap. It's definitely something to think about.